Well, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Do you, as a political party, deploy observers on elections like this from the media?
We are much interested, and we've been very much interested in activities of this election because it has a bearing effect on the next election that will be organized, which is 2024 general election. So we have followed keenly the developments as far as the district assembly election is concerned.
Now, you have seen what has emerged from a number of the voting centers. What do you make of that?
We think that the situation that we find ourselves in as a nation is largely because we have an electoral commission that does not believe in consensus building. She does not want to learn. We are in an avoidable situation, a situation that we could have avoided if she engaged stakeholders, if she was willing to do what is right, given the processes being followed correctly. What is more shocking is that 6 hours to election, the commissioner did not envisage that inventories or supplies were not, taking delivery. And she didn't even check the inventories to ensure that they are in order, in accordance with the expected, contract. And so this clearly tells us that we are dealing with Jean Mensa, who is largely incompetent, who have demonstrated low experience in terms of election management. And it is dangerous going into 2024, particularly if the same personality is going to be our electoral commissioner. The NDC have cautioned the electoral commission on this path that we've got ourselves to. We understand that apart from the technical challenges, be it calling off elections and other issues, today I have visited a polling station in Asojamai where clearly election officers were not in charge of the process. In fact, I have caught a fire service officer who is aiding somebody to vote. These are all issues that must be addressed before we go into 2024 election. Removing an ink that will identify somebody who has already voted, and if you look at the experience with this exercise, it's something that will aid, electoral fraud. And to my surprise, this is not being done by the NDC nor the MPP, but the Electoral Commission, who is supposed to demonstrate impartiality, who is supposed to demonstrate credibility, who is supposed to demonstrate transparency, which are all constitutionally required standards of election. That is the person who is doing this. It means that all of you, the media, Ghanaians, must be interested in this matter, that we find ourselves in a situation that is unpardonable, that no excuse should be allowed this to go, that she cannot blame it on vendors. She has demonstrated incompetence, that she's not in charge, and the commission is not ready for any election. If district assembly election with low stakes cannot be properly organized, can she organize a transparent, well-conducted, free and fair, very sensitive national election like 2024? Are we going to have a situation whereby from 6 hours into general election, the Mensa write a press statement and say, vendors did not supply, so I'm calling off some other part of the country from voting? Can we afford the insecurity? Today, Apenyo Markins in Efutu was being followed by the military, intimidating people. How did the military get deployed into voting centers? Today, in Kaswa, how Akumsin deployed some persons wearing security uniform that national security took responsibility of, wielding arms and threatening people at polling stations. Is it going to be the situation of 2024 general election? I think all of us, including you, the media, must be concerned that your nation is about to go down because we have appointed a dangerous character, a dangerous woman, a very incompetent character to manage our election.
I just spoke to Albert Ahin. He has monitored elections for decades now, and I asked him if today's chaos or today's flop could be a mirror of what will happen next year. He made the point that district level elections are more cumbersome and tedious than national elections. For national elections, you are printing just a specific number of ballot papers for the presidential and also localizing the constituency ones. But when it comes to district assembly, you have so many persons contesting in so many different places, and the ballot papers are supposed to be multiple. Even in one district, you can have so many separate ballot papers. So maybe this particular election is more extensive, more elaborate, and more cumbersome. We should not use this as a touchstone for measuring how the EC would perform in 2024. And indeed, let's not forget that she was involved in the elections of last year, 2020 as well.
Elections of 2020 was declared as a fraudulent election. We all know that President Akufo-Addo used the police, used the military to rig the election.
Yeah, Mustapha,
we all know that. We all know.
No problem. It's not what you hold on, Mustapha, hold on. Yes. It is not what you know. It is what you can prove. And when you went to the Supreme Court, you failed to prove that. So I would be glad if you do not proceed on the allegations that you could not prove for which reason the Supreme Court did not hold for you. So proceed on that tangent. Thank you.
We can leave this conversation, but on a day we can prove that. But let me say that if there was any election to be taken serious in this country, it is an election where the government has failed. The government have been caught to be corrupt, but yet it wants to retain power. This 2024 election is a very critical election for this country, that we should not have such errors and mistakes going into the election. And I'm saying that the situation we find ourselves in are avoidable. They are very avoidable. The fact that you awarded contracts to vendors, who was supervising the vendors, who was to ensure that delivery was taken, who was to ensure that you proceed to send these to the voting centers. Mind you, this is a woman, a commissioner, that is proposing that she wants to move voting time from 6 to 3 p.m. instead of 5. But yet she can declare one part of the country is not able to vote. Umaru, it makes nonsense of her own proposition. I believe that the decision which she took by herself to remove ink system, that is part of our checks and balances to ensure that people who have already voted do not have the opportunity to come into the system and vote, particularly when our elections have been characterized by technological failure as a result of network and machine breakdown, which allow for manual verification. We believe that that decision was taken to aid or to test fraudulent activities into 2024, and that we should all take this thing serious. Dean Mensa will be humbled this evening to know that election management is not cast in stone. It's about experience, it's about consultation, it's about dealing with people who knows the work than yourself to help you build a solid, transparent, dependable, credible system that will give a free and fair election to the people of Ghana. This problem, this mistake is avoidable. Someone must take full responsibility beyond apologizing.
Very well.
Who is she apologizing to? That she's messed up an election system, that we all saw it clearly and cautioned her, and she didn't listen. And when we were speaking, she said the NDC is accusing her, and today we are at the same route, and you are saying that we should let go. Is it a woman who is going to supervise 2024 election, irrespective of how cumbersome it is? Budget was released. Planning was done. Every election precedes with planning and strategizing. What amount of strategy and planning went into the district assembly election? On what basis did Jean Mensa hold a press conference to tell the people of Ghana that she was prepared for election today, as of yesterday? On what basis? Are we going to still be following press conferences into 2024? It's chaotic, it's disaster, it's dangerous for our country.
Thank you for speaking to us. That's Mustapha Gbande, his Deputy General Secretary of the NDC in charge of operations, speaking to us about the huge challenges recorded